We are constantly told that we have plenty of time. There is no rush to figure out your career, no urgency to build your net worth, and a long life ahead to sort out the details. To prove this, society points to the late bloomers. We love the story of Colonel Sanders, who didn't start the Kentucky Fried Chicken empire until he was 63 years old. But relying on that story is a mathematical trap. You are modeling your life on a statistical outlier, banking on an extreme exception instead of following the rule. Deferring action costs you more than a few years. It actively destroys the single most potent mathematical advantage you possess, the youth multiplier. To understand why, we have to look at the sheer mechanics of wealth generation. Look at this chart mapping out financial timelines. Any excess cash you invest in the earliest stages of your career will compound at 3 to 4 times the rate of cash invested decades later. If you put a single extra dollar into an investment when you're 25, the compounding effect can turn that dollar into $90 by the time you're 70. Wait until you're 45 to invest that exact same dollar, and it yields only a ninth of that final amount. Early investments, of any variety, yield disproportionate returns due to the sheer length of the timeline. The principle of compounding applies to the brain and physical energy as much as it does to a bank account. Being young means you have high neuroplasticity to absorb information rapidly, alongside the raw physical endurance required to simply log more repetitions than an older competitor. Bill Gates secured an insurmountable lead in software because he started coding as a teenager. He acquired his repetitions early, and the skills compounded. To maximize those reps, you have to go where the industry action is, and you can only move with that kind of aggression if you lack heavy geographic ties. If you want to build a rapid network in politics, you move to Washington, D.C. If you're hunting for high-level repetitions in finance, you go to New York. And if you want to immerse yourself in media, you go to Los Angeles. Later, once you have the leverage of massive success, you can move to Austin and do whatever you want. But right now, having no kids, no spouse, and no mortgage is a temporary biological advantage. It allows you to hunt for skills faster and cheaper than anyone else. Beyond internal skills, society actively treats young achievers differently. Take an 18-year-old running a massive e-commerce business. Elite mentors line up to help, and investors eagerly write $500,000 checks to back a prodigy. If a 65-year-old accomplishes that exact same financial metric, society is entirely unimpressed. The reputational leverage vanishes. You essentially have until age 30 to wield this advantage. The moment you cross that threshold, the youth multiplier completely decays, and you are just a regular person trying to make a living. When you secure wins early, they act as stepping stones. A single local success, like opening one gym, buys the trust and capital to open multiple locations, which eventually funds a massive national enterprise. While the sequence of these steps remains the same regardless of age, the earlier you step on the first rung, the more momentum you carry into the next phase. When competing in a system where every player desires the same outcome, success often goes to the most adaptable. Winning requires the capacity to endure extended periods of risk and pain for an uncertain payoff, but the reward for that endurance is highest when the mathematics of time are working in your favor. You will inevitably fail along the path, but those failures are not fatal. They are the essential adaptations required to survive. From the starting line, the final goal is always intimidating. It's like looking at a 315-pound bench press when you can barely lift the bar. By the time you actually achieve the massive goal, it feels entirely mundane. You have already completed the thousands of incremental repetitions necessary to get there. Reject the comforting myth of the late bloomer. Embrace the risk while you still possess the youth multiplier. Put the repetitions in and let the mathematics of time do the heavy lifting for you.